It's going to be good. I don't understand why more agents don't call FSBOs.
I do. I know exactly why.
Not that, like, seriously, it is like you could call five FSBOs and have an appointment easily.
Mhm.
You could have three.
Yeah. Sometimes it's one in Tessa's case, right? But what I
One,
don't
one,
understand,
and one, one for one, 100% conversion rate. Go ahead and now you can be a coach. Go
it,
publish a book.
yeah, it is like it's one of the quickest and easiest ways to get listings.
Mhm.
It's
A
crazy.
coach that I used to work with said FSBO stands for fastest source of business opportunity.
I love that. I love that. Ah. Okay. Well, we're going to dive in today for Workshop Wednesday. I have been creating a CE course around AI. I told Audra the other day, I'm like, you want to know the fastest way to learn something at a deeper level? Teach a course on it because it forces you to dive in and learn more. But I've been learning a whole bunch of things that I didn't realize and just had a whole bunch of aha moments lately. And I thought this is perfect for Workshop Wednesday. So we're going to dive into that. Before I get started, so I can kind
Spoiler alert, this actually isn't even Michelle. This is her AI avatar. It's part of the class.
of I have tried so hard to get an AI avatar that looks like me and or not looks like me, but talks like me. I don't think they exist yet. There's no replacement for the human component on that part. But okay, so we have what, like 9, 10 people on here. Let's just do a quick raise of hands. How many of you are using a paid version of ChatGPT right now? Okay. And there's some of you that are using a free version still. Okay, cool. So I'm going to jump in and just touch on the difference between free and pro super quick because there's a couple of you that may want this information. Um, but then we'll dive into the other stuff because it sounds like most of you are using the pro version. I mean, moral of the story, it's worth the $20 to do the paid version. There's a couple reasons, but the availability, sometimes ChatGPT will just not return output for you during heavy usage time. So if a lot of people are using ChatGPT, and of course, the more people that learn about it, the more people that are in there, you're going to get to where you can't get the output in a timely fashion that you need. So speed and availability of ChatGPT is huge, but also being the ability to attach documents and have it help you assess the documents that you attach, those kind of things like adding in attachments, that comes with the pro version, as well as extra minutes and time that you get for using that voice talk. Absolutely love the conversational piece of ChatGPT. In fact, as I came in today, full transparency, I wanted a refresher on the things like, hey, take all the information I have in my brain and help me put it into an outline so I can present on today's mastermind call and not just be all going 100 different places. So I had a conversation with her on the way in today, and I said, "Hey, I want to have, I need a 30-minute mastermind call around this. I'm going to tell you what I know and what I want to talk about, and I need you to help me put it in an outline." And we chatted on the interstate on the way into the office today so that I, could save some time. But I use it all the time. I'll say, "Hey, I want to brainstorm." And we'll just have a conversation back and forth. So if you're not using that voice piece of it, it is a game changer. It's like having another person in the room that you can have a conversation with, just kind of spitball back and forth, and then you're like, ah, I got it now. But that all comes with pro version. If you can use that voice prompt piece with the free version, but you get like 4 minutes. It's throttled back so far. It's just not really worth it. So spend the $20. That's the pitch for the day. I do not have an affiliate account. I do not make any money, but spend the $20. Um, we've talked about this in the past. If you guys have not done this yet, please customize your chat GPT. So when you go into your account, there's a personalization section where you can click on personalization and you can customize your chat GPT. It's going to do a variety of things for you, but what it's going to do is make you sound more like you, make the output sound more like you and less like AI. So you can put things in there about what you do, who you are, how you talk, right? Just specific things about the tone of voice that you use, all of those things. But you can also put things in there like make sure that all of my output is fair housing compliant. Make sure that my output sounds like a human. Do not use M dashes. I don't know about you guys. I probably have said a few choice words to chat when the output comes out, and I'm like, don't use the M dashes, rewrite this. Finally, just put it in my custom personalization to not use M dashes, to use emojis sparingly. So you can put all of that in there so that your output that you have over, routinely is going to sound more human and less like AI. So
Yep.
that would be my big. How many of you guys have your personalization set up on ChatGPT right now? Matt, are you not raising your hand?
I started it and I don't think I finished it because that's pretty typical on brand for me. I started
Well, I'm going to give you
it. I
guys
got busy.
I'm going to give you guys the biggest hack to like you're like I don't know what to put in my personalization. Have a freaking conversation with chat and say I need to customize, I need to put in my personalization and tell you more about me. Let me give you the output and you give me something to copy and paste and put right in there. Boom, you're done. You just have that conversation, 10, 15 minutes. Now you've got it done, and you're going to stop pulling your hair out because the output isn't what you want it to be. It's going to be a lot more on brand with you and on point with you. So if you haven't done that already, go to your settings, go to your personalization and fill that out. It's going to change your output completely.
Michelle had a question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Have you ever shared like your account with other people? So like if your husband or your kids, like one family chat GPT, does that work if you personalize, or is there a way to compartmentalize my stuff from the family?
So if you're trying to do it under the same pro account, you're gonna get you're essentially giving chat mixed messages, right? Because you
Yeah,
different with
okay.
your wife. What I would do is go and get a Chat GPT team account. It's $30 a month per user, so it's a little bit more, but you can share things.
Okay.
You can each have your own of an individual. So we do that on our team. There's a team account, and then I had like my admin has their account too. So we can share things back and forth, but my voice doesn't get mixed up with his voice. If that
Got it. Yes, thank you.
Okay, how many of you guys know what a master prompt or a system prompt is? Okay, I just learned this one and I'm gonna have to put the video.
Okay, good. Because I'm like,
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put this video that I watched on YouTube the other day in the group. A master prompt, think of it as something you reuse multiple times, right? So
Michelle, it's a primary prompt, please.
it took me a minute. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Stop it.
Primary prompt. A master prompt is something that you're going to use again and again and again. And it can be like half of a prompt, right? Just instructions that you want to use again and again and again, like the tone of voice, how you want it to act. So, for instance, a lot of your prompts probably start with or should start with act like a social media marketing expert or act like a real estate agent or real estate marketing professional, a statistician, whatever, right? Like if there's prompts, if you're having it act like a certain persona time and time again, that can go in a master prompt. And you're going to tell it like you want this tone, you want it can have a lot of the same a lot of these kind of overlap. Like, do you put it in your personalization? Do you build a custom GPT? Do you use a master prompt? But a master prompt is more like you could have something in there along the lines of, always use fair housing, make sure you're fair housing compliant, those kind of things. But a master prompt is something that you're going to create and then save as a PDF, and then you can attach it anytime you need to reuse it as part of your prompt. So if you always have it acting like a social media strategist that is using hooks that I'm working on the fly and it's not coming to my brain here, but like using a strong hook to start, making sure it's fair housing compliant, those kind of things. You can build that as a master prompt that you save as a PDF and then can always refer back to it and attach it to your prompt if you're switching it up. Like, hey, I need it for this, but I want you to do something different. If it's something you repetitively do, so like I have a social media custom GPT that I build, it's essentially the same thing as a master prompt, but I know I want to go into that custom GPT and reuse it time and time again and not change anything about it.
Can you give an example of that? Like, do you mind reading your prompt for us? Like, what is it exactly that you say?
The well, now I probably should have been more prepared, Matt. Yes, let me see if I can find.
I'm in Missouri. We're the show me state.
Oh my gosh.
I need you to show me.
Yes, let me pull up one here real quick. And the good thing while I'm pulling this up, you can you can actually ask ChatGPT to help you build your master prompt too, so it can understand you a little bit more. So I'm just going to pull up. So instead of digging into my drive and pulling up my files here, I'm going to hang on. This is where it's hard when you're using a laptop and you got one screen going on here. Okay, so I just asked it to give me a reusable master prompt. So an example of that would be you're a real estate coach and content creator helping agents grow their business. Tone. It gives it the tone, right? You want it to be human, conversational, professional, encouraging, approachable. Rules, always use fair housing compliance, don't use M dashes, avoid excessive emojis, no copyrighted material. Task, that's where you'd put in your specific, like write a social media caption teaching agents how to follow up with FSBO sellers. This could just be write a marketing packet for my new listing. Give me a description that is no more than 1,500 characters. Also, give me 3 social media posts and a 5 bullet points to use in my flyer, right? That could be something that you could put in a master prompt. But it's going to be the task of what you want, and then the format. Provide the response in a clear, organized structure with bullet points or short paragraphs. Make it easy to implement. And then the audience, you're going to tell it what the audience is. So like this would be the master prompt you would save if it's something like if you do your marketing for all of your listings, you could save that as a master prompt. All right, I'm going to stop sharing again. So that would be an idea of like a master prompt. You can also do system prompts as well that we're not going to dive super deep into that, but basically a system prompt would be if you just want to set the tone a little bit differently for a specific prompt itself. Now with the prompts itself, how many of you understand how to write an effective prompt, just an individual prompt that you go in there and write that's going to give you the output that you need, what the basic format of that should be? Cool. I'm going to give you that. This would be a good one to take notes on because this is something you should always be doing with every single prompt that you have, so you're going to get better output. If you just say, write me an MLS description on a 2-bedroom house in Johnston, Iowa, your output is going to look a lot different than if you say, act like a act like a marketing expert. So you're giving it a role or a persona. That's your first thing you're going to write down, right? So act like what do you want it to be? A social media expert, a real estate marketing expert, a whatever, right? So you're giving it its persona. Act like a real estate marketing expert. Then you're going to give it the action or the task. So you're going to tell it exactly what you want to do. And you need to think about the more details, the better. You can even attach examples in this case. So if you have, I don't know if you guys have ever gone in your MLS and looked at the previous, like if your house you're listing has been listed 3 times previously, you can copy all of those or screenshot all of those and attach them in to give it examples. Or you can just write the specific bullet points on the house. So it should, instead of a 2-bedroom house in Johnston, Iowa, it should be a 2-bedroom bungalow in Johnston, Iowa, 2 bathrooms, updated kitchen. You're giving it the bullet points, the things that you would normally use anyway, but doesn't have to be anything pretty. So you're going to say, so your action is going to be write me a listing description and you're going to tell it all the things. And then you're going to tell it what tone you want to be in. So do you want it warm, inviting, informational, bitchy? Like, how do you talk?
Have you ever asked it to make sure that nobody could tell that you wrote it?
Yes.
Because there's so much conversation out online going, I can spot an AI description from a mile away.
Yes.
Right. So is there a way to go to the prompt and say, hey, I'd love for you, AI, to write this. And I want to make sure that no one's reading this ever expects that you wrote this.
Yes. So we'll talk about that a little bit further. Iterations are really important. So when you guys are writing your ChatGPT prompts, I want you to think of it as if you're talking to a toddler. You wouldn't tell your toddler, okay, I want you to go put your
Yeah, my wife would be great at this.
shoe.
Really.
I want you to go put your shoes on. And then after you get your shoes on, I want you to put your shirt on, your pants on, and then we're going to go in the car and I want you to buckle up. Your toddler would not be able to do those
How do
five.
you put your pants on after your shoes?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know.
You know what?
Anybody else catch that?
Thank you. Okay, put your pants on before your shoes. But point being, you don't give your toddler 5 steps, right? Because your toddler is only going to do one step at a time. You're going to say, hey, go put your pants on. And then you're going to say, go put your shirt on. And then you're going to say, put your shoes on. And then you're going to say, go out to the car. Okay, let's buckle up, right?
Wow.
Otherwise, your kid's going to be in the car with their shoes on, no pants on, and not buckled up. So the think the same way with your prompts. We're going to do iterations. So to answer your question in a very long-winded way, Matt, it's an iteration. I wouldn't tell the prompt within itself to not sound like
Don't sound like
everybody
yourself.
else. I would
Yeah.
let it give you your initial input and then use iterations. So your next iteration, or when you get it refined to where you want it to be, where it's got the content you want, and then say, now take this and make it sound less like AI. Give it an additional prompt after that. So if you give ChatGPT too many steps all in one,
Mhm.
the information that comes out is often not what you want it to be. It's trying to do too many things at once. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got the role or persona. You've got the action or task that you need it to do. You've got the tone or style. You're telling it how to talk, how to communicate, like what the output should be. And then you're going to put your constraints or limits in there. So make sure that the listing description is less than 2,000 characters. Make sure that it is fair housing compliant. Make sure that you're not using any copyrighted information. Whatever you want the restriction to be, you're going to put that in there. So it's a really simple, if you can think of these 4 things every time you write a prompt: role or persona, action or task, tone or style, constraints and limits. And then let it give you its output. And then after you get your output, that's where you keep doing the iterations. Do not expect that the first output is going to be what you want. It's, again, you have to remember, I think where people go wrong with AI is they use AI to create their output and they remove the human component from it. You have to still have the human component. You are the professional, you have the knowledge base, you are you, right? And so you have to continue to have that conversation with it to refine it and make it sound like you. It's very rare that the additional output is going to be what you need it to be and not sound like AI. Now, I'm going to again put that video link that I watched in our group, but another cool thing that you can learn to do is have it put the output in what they call a canvas. And a canvas is essentially a working document that has all of the background code in it. And how many of you guys have ever had a prompt and you keep asking it to refine that prompt? And maybe you wanted to keep paragraphs 1 through 3, but then and just change paragraph 4, and it changed the whole freaking thing. It gets confused sometimes with iterations too. So if you have it put that output in a canvas and then you make the adjustments in the canvas, it changes the code without changing every piece of it. So you can change just that last paragraph in there. So you'll have to watch this video. There's just way too much to go into it right now in this conversation, but I'll give you guys the link. You can watch the video. I think canvases will be what changes your life and your output when it comes to ChatGPT. I guess I'm going to pause for a minute and see, does anybody else, what do you guys have for, thoughts, comments? Anybody else have any tips or tricks that they use with ChatGPT that we haven't gone over? Okay, you're all experts.
Well, I guess I'm curious to find, like, what are you using ChatGPT for most? So we just went over like property descriptions, helping you with administrative stuff. What is everybody else using ChatGPT
GPT.
for? GPT, ChatGPT for most.
Is anybody using ChatGPT?
So I
Um, I've used it even like if I've had challenging text messages from clients. I've thrown the text message in the like in the into ChatGPT, and I've asked it like however I need it to like sound, like,
Mhm.
and I'll give it some prompts for how to respond to it. But sometimes it would take me those text messages would take me like a half an hour to figure out what I was going to say back to them, and now it's just like a matter of I mean, a minute maybe at the most, and I've got something that I feel comfortable sending back to them.
I like that. One thing I add in
And
there.
also, same with emails, but I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, 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 you're good. So yeah, I add in a lot of when I'm having it help me respond to a text or an email. First, you can take a screenshot of the text and you can attach it in there. So you can tell it how to respond to it without you having to retype all that text in there. You just attach it in there and say, here's the text I got. Here's kind of what I'm thinking to respond. Help me respond in a calm and professional manner. And then a lot of times I'll say use NLP, so neuro linguistic programming. It's like my favorite in terms of like how to communicate with people. Um, Sometimes I'll add in there, like if I want to get real, I'll talk about like adding, like I'll give specific examples, like use some of the techniques that Chris Voss uses in this book or whatever. So I think that's really good. I had an email yesterday. We had a really difficult situation where there's some cracks in the foundation of a new home, and I needed to know how to respond in a way that didn't necessarily give off that we were like that my clients were losing their cool, and still allowed us to have some negotiation in there and hopefully get the builder to take some action and make things better. So I think it can be super helpful, especially in those situations where you're hot-headed and you need a little help to cool down.
And sometimes I'm not even hot-headed. Like literally, it's just what it's also like. I had somebody ask me something about it's like the same type of thing I've been hearing over and over again about, I wish it was 2019. I mean, that was literally his text was something like, I wish it was like 2019 pricing, and that, do you think the home prices are going to come down? And like, he was just asking a bunch of questions like that. And it's like the same stuff I've been repeating to him over and over again. And so I just threw it in there and I gave it some like prompts, and it popped out with something. I was like, I could not have written that good anywhere close to in that time frame. And I copy pasted, changed a couple little things, and sent it to him. But it was like, I mean, it's just hard sometimes because I I get tired of repeating the same thing over and over again. Like, we're not going back to 2019 prices. Like, if you could have bought a house in 2019, you would have bought a house in 2019.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're 22 years old now, so you weren't going to be buying a house in 2019.
Yeah, it can definitely be helpful to just convey your message in more concise. I know this is going to really surprise you guys. I can be really wordy in my emails and my text messages, so it can help me make things more concise and get my point across too. One more thing too that can be super helpful in your daily work. You have to be careful. You have to remove any personal identifiable information if you're putting like contracts and that, but the attachment feature I've had like around here we have a builder that uses their own contracts, and they're so long and there's so much in there. Being able to attach that and say, tell me what did they put in here for closing date? What is our contingency for whatever? You can ask ChatGPT to analyze that document and pull the pieces out of it that you need, or an inspection report. If you're not understanding a specific part of an inspection report or how to convey that in layman's terms, you can attach that into ChatGPT and say, give me a summary of this inspection report in layman's terms. Help me explain this to my client, what the pros and cons of, fixing this or leaving it alone could be. And it will help summarize that for you in a way that you can, then have a conversation with your client if you don't understand what you're reading. Cool. Anyone else have thoughts or uses that you have for ChatGPT?
I do. I use it a lot for follow-up because we work with a lot of leads. I'm a newer agent, and so sometimes I'm working with clients who don't really haven't really responded. So I'll use it for ideas of ways to get it hooked. If I know that they looked at certain properties and stuff, I will like put those properties in there and say, hey, help me come up with a call to action kind of thing. And then I sometimes even take it a little further and it'll give me like, send this at this time of day, but then follow up the next morning with another one. And so they kind of make just a plan for just trying to get your clients to engage, your leads to engage. So I find it really helpful for that.
Love that. Audra, did you have one? I know we're a little over, but you always have good stuff.
I've been using it for newsletters, for weekly emails, if you're focused on email marketing. One project that I'm working on is reviving a blog. Blogs are coming back. I don't know if everybody knows that. And because AI searches static content, they don't search Google reviews. So if someone says, who's the top agent in Lubbock, Texas, they're not going to look at someone's reviews, but they're going to look at searchable content like blogs and things like that. So having a blog that can be found on AI searches, but I didn't know where to start. So I literally just asked Chat, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's what I want to do. Where do I start? What platform do I use? I also want it to be video friendly so I can convert it or I can make a blog, but then also create a video. And it literally put out step by step. Okay, here's where you should host it. Here's where you need to get started. Here's some things to think about. Here's how to optimize it. And I just started having a conversation. I'm like, man, that took me 15 minutes and I have the whole plan.
Yeah.
Less than 15 minutes, probably took me like maybe 5. So just I have it's taken me a long time to be like, okay, I'm having a conversation with my computer. But the more that I use it, the more I'm like, man, it's pretty incredible everything that it can do.
I think the cool thing too, and then we'll be done for the day here. You hit it there. The more you use it, the more incredible it is. It's you learn to use it better, but you're training ChatGPT. So the more you use it, the more you're training it to do the things that you want it to do, to learn about you, to know about you. So the big thing is to really get in there and use it. The trick is to use it as an assistant and not use it to replace you. Right? So many people are worried that AI is going to replace you. I guarantee AI is not going to replace you, but someone who uses AI will probably replace you. So, all right, we'll end on that today. We will see you guys on Friday for Freestyle Friday. Have a good one.